Hello there, this is MusicMan0150, also known as Gary, and yes, I'm back again yet with another video for you. And you're probably wondering what I'm up to today. Well, as you can see, I'm in the process of dismantling this gateway computer, and the reason for that is the power supply keeps shutting down on it. I tested it several times without the hard drive and the power supply was running good, but when I go to put the hard drive back on, then the power supply just tends to shut down. I don't know why it's doing that, and I checked the jumpers on this little hard drive here. This is the drive that I was using in the computer, and I took off the second jumper that was on there. That you could see where the one jumper is. Well, on the top row where the two pins are next to each other, that's where the second jumper was, and I thought maybe that was the reason that the power supply was shutting down. This is the jumper right here, as you can see. So I removed that from the hard drive, but unfortunately it was still shutting down. It wasn't shutting down where it would turn off the system completely. It would shut down on the fan. The fan would just quit. It would start running, but then the fan would quit. And I'm not sure what's causing that. Because I have, if you can see in here too, this is for the top CD-ROM drive, which I took out. And then down here was where the hard drive is. I have the bracket out, as you can see. There's normally a bracket that goes in here where the hard drive mounts to. This is the bracket actually right up here. And it was still shutting down, so I don't know what the problem is. I think the power supply might have a slight short, or something's not allowing it to handle the voltage that it should. So that's probably why it's shutting down. What I could do, excuse me, just out of curiosity, to see if maybe it is the hard drive, maybe drawing too much power, I can try another drive, because I got one down here. I don't know what's on it, but I think this drive wasn't working too swift either. But let's see. Oh, here's another one. This is a 6 gig. The other one's a 10 gig, and the original was a 20 gig. So I'm going to try this 6 gig drive, because these are nice. And the reason these are nice is you know exactly where the jumpers are supposed to be set according to master, slave, or cable select. And these drives here are by Western Digital. Western Digital always made great hard drives. And see right there, you can see the diagram for the jumper selections. See, it says slave, master, and cable select, or limit capacity. On some drives it could be limited capacity. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video, hook up the hard drive, because I'll need 2 hands, and then come back and we'll try the computer again and see if the power supply fan does fail with that drive. Okay, I'm back now, and as you can see, I got the hard drive attached. It's just hanging there, so we want to make sure that it doesn't unhook itself and fall down and get broken. So we're not going to leave this hang there too long. But I do want to check and see if the fan is going to fail again. So let's go ahead and power this up. And as you can hear, the power supply is running right now. And that's the hard drive. That's, if you hear that little whining sound, that's the hard drive running. And that's the floppy drive seeking. That's normal. And you can see too here on the screen that everything's normal. Okay, it says operating system not found, but that's okay because there's nothing on the drive itself. But it sounded like that the floppy seek was a lot faster on that drive compared to when I had the 20 gig. Now, what I'm thinking is, maybe I'm jumping to conclusions on getting rid of this machine, simply because of the fact that it could be that the jumper on this drive, you can see there again, might just need to be put in a different place. So I do have the second jumper, and I also have a pair of needle nose pliers. These are the best. These needle nose pliers right here are the best. If you ever have to remove a jumper, you know, from a motherboard or from a CD-ROM drive, DVD drive, hard drive, these are the best, because you can see how the pliers themselves are real thin, but they have a real nice, good grip. You know, when you squeeze it to close the pliers together, the pointers, it really grabs good. Because I have another pair similar to this, but they just don't feel the same. When I go to try to take a jumper off of a motherboard, hard drive, or CD, DVD drive, the grip just doesn't feel the same as these do. So I really like these. And I'll tell you what, there's been times I've almost lost them, but thank goodness I didn't lose them. So I really try hard to keep track of those, because those are really nice needle nose pliers. You could probably find those kind online or at your local hardware store or handyman store. But anyway, getting back to the computer, you can hear that the power supply is still running, and I'm putting my hand by the back of it where the vent is, and I know probably you're going to get some wind noise, but that's because the fan is still running. So that is a good thing. That's a good thing. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and change the drive back to, well, let's do this first. Let's try the 10 gig that I got there on the floor. I'm going to try the 10 gig next and see how that reacts to this machine. And if it runs okay, then we know something is up with the setting on that 20 gig. So we'll be back with more troubleshooting right after I change the hard drive. Okay, I'm back again, and this time I have the 10 gig hard drive on the computer. And now let's go ahead and power the machine up again and see what happens this time. I think this drive here, this IBM drive, it may be going bad because it tends to click. Sometimes it clicks abnormally. But let's see what happens. Yeah, see, I tried putting 98 on this one, and it just didn't want to load right. So my other thought is that that's a 10 gig and the 6 gig worked. Maybe I can't go any higher than an 8 gig on this computer. See, I can't remember what kind of drive came with it originally. I wonder if it was an 8 gig in there and I tried to upgrade it. Then I ended up forcing the upgrade. I don't know. I really wouldn't say forcing the upgrade, because then the BIOS wouldn't even accept it. So, I mean, everything is accepted. It's just that it seems to run a little bit slower with a higher capacity drive. But power supply is still running. But see, it hadn't loaded Windows on there. So that's what I want to show you. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put the 20 gig back on, the one that I was attempting to put into the machine, and let's see what happens when I do that. Okay, we're back again now, and this time we have the 20 gig hard drive attached, and now I'm going to show you exactly what happens with the computer when I use this drive. So we're going to go ahead and power it up. And you can hear the hard drive running, and you'll see the screen light up again with Gateway. And there it is. Now we know it boots up fine. So let's watch what happens on the computer part itself. Okay, you heard the floppy drive seek. So now we're going to go to the power supply. Okay, there, see? Power supply just shut down. Fan stopped. And all that's running now is the hard drive. So, I guess the solution would be to just go ahead and put in that 6 gig. I think that's what I'll do, is just put in that 6 gig drive and load Windows 98 on it, because it only has 384 megs of RAM, and 98 holds a lot of information for, I mean, you know, offline usage. It could be used for games or word processing, that sort of thing. And it's a fast machine. It's a Pentium 3 at 450 megahertz. So that's actually pretty good for someone that just wants a computer to, you know, play around with. So what I got to do too is I got to find some CD-ROM drives to stick into it that I'm not going to care about giving up. What I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to get to the start. There we go. And I'm going to shut it down. It says shut down. That's what we want. And to make it easier, I'm just going to hit the enter key. And I think what we'll do is just go ahead and yeah, see, there's a bunch of errors on that. Something's not right. So I don't think the computer likes 20 gig drives. I think it's trying to tell me something. So I think that's what we're going to end up doing, is just putting in that 6 gig and be done with it. And if it's a 450, well, then it's a 450 with 6 gig. But there's small programs I can load. I can load like old Office 2000. I can put some games on the computer, you know, maybe a print shop program or some sort, and then just have it as a vintage computer, or who knows, maybe even just try to sell it real cheap. So, but I mean, I hate to just recycle it. I mean, everything is working actually pretty well. So, as far as dismantling it, we're not going to do that. We're just going to kind of downgrade it a little bit so it works efficiently, and hope for future usages. So what I'll do is I'm going to turn this now into part 2 of the video, so then you can see me put it back together. I've already taken it apart, as you can see, so I'm going to show you how to actually reassemble a computer that's partially apart if you get one of these like you see here. So we'll be back with part 2 of the not dismantling computer right after this short break.